Okay, so today I will start with the novel only because of your 12th standard. The novels are there. The section 4 is the novel in 12th standard. Okay, so I will start with the little bit history of the novel. It's a little bit boring, you will feel, but all we have to do that we have to learn. I will explain you what is exactly there in it, so we will try and understand what is exactly there. One by paragraph we will learn. We have a lots of time. We will learn. This is basically just a history of novel. What, how the history is started, right? How the history is started. We need to just focus on that. That's it. Okay. How the history started. We need to just learn that. Clear? Let's start. The 18th century. Here, what is written? You can also read. Even I am also reading, right? The 18th century has gifted the English literature two entirely new forms. What it means? It means that 18th century, which means 1700, has gifted English literature, clear, two entirely new forms, right? Which are without any trace in the ancient classical heritage. Which means that in ancient century, sorry, 18th century has gifted the English literature two entirely new forms which are without any traces in the ancient classical heritage, and one of those the periodical essay and other is the novel. So basically, in 18th century has gifted the English subject a two form, a two things. The one is the essay, one is the essay, periodical essay, and the second one is the novel. Okay, so 18th century has gifted the English subject two things: essay and periodical essay and novel. Both of these terms, especially novel, caught the spirit of the 18th century as the age of intellectual, sentimental, and realistic plane, and tried to instruct the reader. So basically, both of these here, the novel has captured the attention of the people. Okay, like in novel, had understood the uh, intellectual of intellectual, sentimental, realistic, and try to instruct the reader, which would help them to more purposeful and virtuous life. Since the time of its origin, novel has been gaining popularity and growing gradually, and today it is recognized as the most dominant literary genre. So here they are saying that in the first paragraph, 18th century has gifted the English subject two things. The one is the essay, and another one is the novel. But the novel has captured more attention. Why the novel has captured more attention? Because novel shows the reader the reality, intellectual, and everything, and instruct the reader how to live a purposeful life and virtuous life. And today, if you see, it is regarded as one of the most dominant literature, right? Today it is regarded as one of the most dominant literary in literary. Clear? Till now understood. Second one, a novel is relatively a long narrative fiction which describe intimate human experience, normally in a prose form. Basically, novel is what here in the second paragraph you can see they are simply saying that novel is nothing but a narration, a long narrative fiction. Fiction is imagination. A novel is a long narrative imagination which describes the intimate human experiences, normally in a prose form. So, novel is nothing but the long narration which is actually describing, which is showing in novel the experience of a human being in a narration, in a in a narrative way, in a prose form. Okay, in a story way, which means then in the novel you will see that imagination in a story form, which is experienced by all of us. The present English word novel is derived from the Italian word novella, meaning new. So this particular word, the present, what we are saying novel, It is the word is saying that novella. Okay, it is an Italian word. The meaning of the novel word is neo. A novel narrates a story. A novel is narrating the story, embellishing it with more details of time, place, nature, people, and their minds, their gestures and activities. So basically, novel, if we read the novel, what we will understand? We will understand about the character and their mind, the name, place, time, area, setting, everything. Okay, gestures and activities, what the character is doing. If anyone will read the novel, he will understand the character, the mind of the character, what kind of activity he is doing, the place, time, everything. Okay, it present the picture of the society of the period which the novel is based off. If you are reading the story is about 18th century, so you will try and understand their mind, the what kind of activity they had done, which place, which time, everything you will understand. So novel makes life easier to understand than in drama and poetry. So whenever we are learning a drama, so novel makes us more understandable, because in drama there are some limitations are there, but in novel there is a very less limitation. Clear? Than drama and poetry. In modern era, the novel has adopted the literary prose. If you see in the modern time, the novel has adopted. The novel is started writing in an essay form, but before, if you see, the novel was even written in a poem way. But now the novel is written in a literary prose. Clear? In the second paragraph, they are describing about where the word is come from, the Italian word, and its meaning is new. The novel is describing about the person, character, the time, place, everything. Clear? Now, the novel as a literary genre. Okay, the novel as a literary genre has a history of about 2000 years. Okay, novel of a history is a history of about 2000 years. Clear? Novel as a literature. Okay, novel as a literature genre. Okay, has a history of about 2000 years, which means that it is very clear that the novel started from 2000 years ago. Oh my god, the novel started 2000 years ago. Among the early precursor of novel, a collection of tales known as Greek romance and dating from the 2nd to 6th century may top the list. Okay, novel has a literary genre. Okay, novel has literature genre has a history of about 2000 years, which means this novel is come from 2000 years ago. And among the early precursor of novel, so which means the earlier novel is a collection of tales which is known as Greek romance, dating from the 2nd to 6th century. Okay, 6th century may top the list. If I talk about the earlier and earlier, novel is basically come from is actually become famous from 2000 years ago, but before also the earlier novels was totally based on the romantic way, romance, right? And this imaginative and delightful stories of idle love, and this imaginative and delightful stories of idle love and marvelous adventure profoundly affected the creative writing for the next 1000 years. Basically, obviously, these romantic stories has greatly impacted on the further writer, right? Next thousand of years. Though novel in the modern era usually makes use of literary, though obviously in the modern time it used as a literature prose in a prose story way, the earlier threads of the genre can be found in Virgil Ecologius. Okay, is found in Virgil Ecologius or Malories, Morte de Arthur or Geoffrey Chaucer. Okay, Morte de Arthur and Jose Joffre, the Canterbury Tales. So basically, if you say the before the earlier times, there was a earlier times before Greek Romans. They were writing novels, but those novels are the based on the romantic. right? Romantic way. Okay, so which means that early before novel, nowadays the novels are using the literature genre gens, but before the novels were written in a romantic form. So the first the genre can be found, okay, Virgil Ecologius or Marley Montre de Arthur. Okay, then Lady Murasaki Shikubu. So Lady Murasaki Shikubu, Tales of Genji. Okay, Tales of Genji. Just see that when it was published, 1000 it was there. 1010 has been described as the first novel. So the first novel was then in 1010, which was very old. Okay, Lady Murasaki has written the Tales of Genji. The European novel is often said to begin with Don Quixote. Okay, the European novel was also name is Don Quixote by Spanish writer. So the European novel was Don Quixote, Spanish writer Miguel de Cervantes, which was published in two parts between 1605 16. Basically, if I talk about the earlier novel, it was started in the Greek period, which means the romantic way. Then first novel was there 1010, okay, and then and it is Tales of Genji, and then in European novel, first novel was the name of the Don Quixote. It was it was published in 1605 and 1650 in two part. In the 18th century, the appearance of the newspaper and magazine attracted the large number of readers from the middle class. Obviously, when slowly when the time period moves on, so the 18th century came. So 18th century is never by 1700. The um, newspaper and magazine attracted the large number of reader at that time. Okay, large number of reader from the middle class. Okay, and these new readers had little interest in romance tragedies, which were appreciated by the upper class. So basically, the middle class is attracted toward newspaper and magazine, and the upper class people are interested in the romantics and tragedies. Romantics means everyone know that. Tragedies means what? Tragedy means in 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 romantic only, in some story there are some kind of tragedies are taking place, which is a conflict related base, and which were appreciated by the upper class, which means upper class appreciated this more. They showed an interest, and thus the need for a new type of literature arise. And then after that, the need for new type of literature started increased, arised, and that would express the new idea of 18th century. Okay, that would express the new idea of 18th century, because they want to the in 18th century, when the people interested in romantic and tragedy, so obviously the novel will be made on those only. The 18th century, the 18th century, the new literature was characterized by the spirit of realism and the denial of romantic feature like enthusiasm, passion, and imagination. So basically, from the 18th century, the new characteristic were taken place in the novel, like enthusiasm, romantic. Okay, the foreground for the novel was prepared by all these factors. So whenever the novel is preparing, so they are keeping in mind, whoever is creating the novel, so they will keep in mind we need to show the reality. Clear? After 1740, okay, which means after the 1740, the novel originated as the literary form in England. Okay, so in England, 1740, the novel was originated as the literary form. An increase in trade and because of increase in the trade and commerce in the world, along with the industrial revolution, gave rise to the middle class. Obviously, when the trading was started, so an industrial revolution was there. It actually gave rise to the middle class. A class of people had emerged to occupy an elite status. So this class of people has emerged to occupy an elite status, which means a good status. The realistic picture of everyday life and problems of a common people depicted in the novels appealed to the newly educated class. So basically, in the novel also, obviously, when the economic trade and commerce was increased, so the it becomes the part of a novel, and it was started depicting. Okay, and was regarded by them as respectable reading material. So in short, I want to say that in this paragraph they are explaining that the first novel was there, The Tale of Genji, which was published in 1010, and then it was in the Europe side there is a 1605. The first novel is that Don Quixote, okay, Don Quixote, and then the and it was published in two form, okay, two volume, the 1605 and 1615. And then slowly the European people are getting more interested in the novel, romantic and tragedies by the upper class, and the middle class people have attracted towards the newspaper and magazine. So obviously it becomes the part of a novel. Whenever the novelists are creating the novel, they are keeping in mind to show this thing. Then slowly after the 740, the England also started novel, and here because of the trading and commerce, industrial revolution, they started implementing those things also in the real life, and it makes the reader more respectable what they are doing, because obviously what we all are doing, if the novel is putting, okay, if the novel is putting this things, and when a person will read, so definitely they will feel respect, right? They will feel the material is very good, clear. And thus novel as a form appear to have been a design for both. So this novel has have as a form appear to be have been designed for both, to voice the aspiration of the middle and lower classes and meet their longings, okay, and meet their longings, clear. So basically here they are explaining that the novel is appeared the novel as a form appear to have been a design for both, to voice the aspiration of the middle and the lower class and meet their longings. So basically the novel became the part of the society, and whatever the middle class has thought and whatever, so it becomes the voice for the people. The advancement of machines provided time to the newly formed educated middle class to indulge in reading and discussing about the books. So because of industrialization, what happened, it makes the middle class people, and advance of the machines makes their middle class people to more educated to read and talks about the books, discuss about the books, okay. Drama and poetry were the two literature forms, okay. Drama and the poetry were two literature forms that were fading away, right, that were fading away. Drama and the poem were fading away slowly. Novel was the combination of some features of drama and poetry. Some new more features were added. So basically slowly this drama and the poetry was reducing, it was fading away from the society. People are more interested to learn a novel, and novel added the drama and combination of drama and poetry, and added such more things, more features. It became the prominent form in the 18th century. It became the prominent form in the 18th century by encompassing the social, political, and culture happening and scientific progress. Clear? It became the prominent form in the 18th century. Clear? What became the prominent? It became the important form in the 18th century, the novel, by encompassing the social, political, cultural happenings and scientific. So basically, if I talk about whenever the person is reading a novel, so they will obviously find it becomes the important form in the novel to show the society, show the political, show the culture in what is happening, and in scientific progress. Clear? Now, the Pilgrim Progress. Now we will see the name of the novel, The Pilgrim Progress, by John Bunyan. Okay, Bunyan. Okay, The Pilgrim Progress was written by the John Bunyan. Okay, who written? The Pilgrim Progress is written by whom? The John Bunyan. And the Urunuku. And Urunuku is a novel, and it is written by the Abra Barry. So in 1678, the novel, which means the second half of the 17th century, The Pilgrim Progress was written by the John Bunyan, and then and after 10 years, the Oronuku was written by the Abra Bahan initiated the plenteous and colorful tradition of English. Okay, so this initiated the plenteous and colorful tradition of English novel and was followed by Daniel Defoe and Jonathan Swift. Okay, Daniel Defoe and Jonathan Swift, and Gulliver Travels, a famous satire, and then Robinson. Okay, so these are the followed. And other major novelists 18th century are Samuel Richardson. So the Pamela or Virtue Rewarded and Clarissa, both epistolary novel. Then Henry Fielding. Okay, Fielding, Lawrence Stern, and Tobias Smollett. The tradition was enriched by many other stalwart novelists such as the Charles Dickinson. So basically Charles Dickinson, then Walter Scott, Nathaniel and Horace Walpole, and Thomas Hardy and Wilkie Collins and H.G. Wells. So these are the 18th century name of the novelist. Okay, and then the 20th century is marked by the modern topics. So in the 20th century, which means 1900, it actually talking about in the novels which can see modern topics and innovative styles and techniques, widen the angles of the views of novelist. Okay, so in 20th century the novelist had adapted a new styles. So the E.M. Foster, the James Joyce, Joseph Conrad, Henry James. So these are the new novelists. Okay, and then Joseph Conrad, Henry James, George Orwell, Graham Greene, D.H. Lawrence, the William Golding, and the Anthony Burgess. Okay, Burgess. And they widen the circumference of the genre in writing political, social, psychological, modern issue in their novel. And there are immigrants authors also there in Europe, like Salman from India. Okay, Salman Rushdie from India. Okay, then V.S. Naipaul. Okay, and Japan and many others. So these are the novels you need to read from year to year. This paragraph is important, and in this paragraph they are just explaining about in the 16th century what were the novel and who were the novelists in 20th century. Then 18th century they are clear. The contribution of human novelist was also there to this great pageant, cannot be neglected. So human novelist was also contributed. The novel of manners. Okay, Evelina. Okay, the novel of manners, the Evelina, by Francis Burney. Okay, Francis Burney. And Gothic novels by Anne Radcliffe, a novel based on Science of Age, Frankenstein, by Mary Shelley, are landmark novels. So these are the novels which are contributed by the women. Okay, women novelists, they had written that. The Evelina, Frankenstein. Okay, and Jane Austen have been ruling over the minds of the people through her novels. So she is ruling the minds of the people through her novels. And Bronte sisters and Emily and Charlotte have created their own place in their incompatible works. The Wuthering Heights and the Jane Eyre. Okay, Eyre, Mary Ann Evans, Alice. George Eliot wrote the novels, reflecting psychological insight. Virginia Woolf is the pioneer of the stream of consciousness technique in English novel. Then Agatha Christie then created her own place, and then Miss Marple are evergreen detectives created by her. So in short, I can say that the human novelists are also some contributed over here, and you need to read the names of them. The names are given, and what they have written everything. Women also contributed from the Europe side. Clear? I am stopping here because there is Indian scenarios there. Clear? Okay, let's focus on the Indian scenario, and after that I will stop. So in Indian scenario, the who were the novelist? The Rajmohan's Wife by Bankim. Okay, Rajmohan's Wife is a novel which is written by the Chandra Chattopadhyay and serialized the Indian field was the first novel in English written by and the period that is marked by the few more novels written by the Indian version. And these novels are either nationalistic virtues or social issue and their framework. So Indian novels were really talking about the social issue and nationalistic issue. And Mulk Raj Anand, the R.K. Narayan Raj, and Raja were the major trio who prevailed in the period after that. Novelists like Anita Desai, Nayantara Sagal, and Arun Joshi, and Manohar Malgonkar uplifted the revolutionary in Indian English novel through their works. Amitav Ghosh, Vikram Seth, and Upamanyu Chatterjee ameliorated the Indian novel in English, adding new features to it. Recent years have witnessed the dazzling performance by Indian novelists like Salman Rushdie, Arundhati Roy, Kiran Desai, and the Kiran Nagar. The tradition of the Indian novelists is inception as a register. So, in short, I can say that the Indian novels are talking about two things. The one is the nationalistic virtues, the good things of the nationalistics, and the second one is the socialistic issue which were there in India. Right? So, these were the name of Indian people. You can read it and you can remember. So basically from this particular chapter only the fill in the blanks match the column, uh, and then true and false were going to become. So there is a chances from year to year. So the name you have to remember. That's it. Okay, I'm stopping here.